We say that a writer begins in the effort to discover her voice. Of course, her voice is a euphemism. We really mean the imagination, which seems to receive somewhat unequal distribution among human beings. So we say voice. Everyone has one of those, right? And because we like to feel we live in a democracy, it flatters us to believe that any one of us might have the requisite talent to transform the world through language. And thank God it happens, and it is a miracle. But it is way, way rarer than we like to admit. It seems to arrive strangely from somewhere, though no one knows exactly where. So when I say now that Jess Feldman has a gift, I would like you to understand that I mean it in the old way. She is inspired. Jess Feldman's poems seem original to me in two ways. One is that they sound like they have originated in a particular and mysterious life. They have an incomprehensible trueness about them. The other is that they sound simultaneously as if they have been invented out of almost nothing, or out of the silence that surrounds every one of us. The freshness of her poems, which is at all times present, has a controlled wildness to it. Kind of like a family dog that runs off during a vacation trip to a state forest. Feral, but with memories of the domestic routine surrounding it. Hence the title of the book, Bush Dog. One way to enter these poems is to hear how Jess is continually revising the family romance. A couple of years ago, in fact, she rewrote Little Women as a 2-page poem that sounded like a shooting script, a proposal for a movie version as it might have been conceived by Werner Herzog and Maureen Niediger during a drunken weekend in a lakeside cabin upstate. It was a mess, but more brilliant and audacious than I can possibly say. I had to stop reading it a couple of times, both excited and mystified. It had an odd mix of humor and tender-heartedness in it, and something more violent, like the sounds of a door being axed to splinters. It occurs to me now that this was the sound of Jess breaking into her imagination. All of Jess's poems seem to emerge from the old, weird America, but they feel completely up to date, filled with plenty of the pure products gone crazy that are both our glory and our shame, and always with us. Her poems thrill me. Please welcome Jess Feldman.
Yay! Alright, do I sound okay? This is kind of a strange alien thing. So I just want to say thank you, David. Thank you, Mikhail, and Charlie, and Andy, and Meredith, and just thanks to all my friends, the MFA community, and my family, and to Michael, who has been through all of this whole process, even before the MFA program. It's been a crazy road, and I feel like I'm so proud of the work that I've done now, and I don't think I could have done it. Sorry, is that you guys? Thanks, okay. Internet. Some cut I've got made my way through the fatherless and heathen wood. The day I stopped coming by to make amends, things were green. I turn on, flush game to the center of a circle, make camp and wait. I am a girl, and there are woods, and some woods are for me to become barbarian and then relinquish. I am landlocked and unbearably healthy. When I lean into the trunk of some pine, all my loves laugh inside a cord. I am with words for belonging and with words for not belonging. There is a word for how it feels to be wasted and and blind like birdshot. That word is a jackal, or an armored horse, or neither. When there is a small set of stars vanishing, I like to remember a wild place I go to sometimes, a room without chairs, crowded with light. Am I so brave that what were once maimed wolves are now purple asters? Are labels as stiff, as accurate as a flock of hooded merganser? I have never been a person in the world with hands held out, anticipating communion. I have not been that honest. You, bright helix, touch, tell this touch, I am far from things I knew. Ghost culture. There's got to be a reason for Brother's hair lip, and why the Chinese pheasant raised above our heads is an Egyptian dawn. This phantom light sets the animals about as if we're all taking refuge in a glade on a picnic blanket. Why have the stars been dragged across North America just to be named? All dissipates, eases into a pity spring. What is the one true sentinel naked to the hour? Is it the all-too-real harpooned bowhead buoyed by the keel like an island offshore? Or the red-capped robin alighting from brush, giving terse shape to this devil sky? How far to Tuscaloosa? Castle Island? Can I drag what's left of my brother's face to that side of the neighborhood? The animals I spoke of grow restless. What was conceived as light is finally fire. It wails towards us at a remarkable speed. I'm going to read this. This is a true story. It's a dog poem. It's called Knowing. The saddest kind of day, knowing you're putting your dog down in the vet's blue office, sitting around, thinking about it. The years you took your dog for car rides, walks in the park, hosed her down in the summer, gave her hamburgers. There was the time your dog grabbed someone's puppy by the throat. After that, people called her Cujo behind your back. The day the old girl had a stick snagged between her skull and her eyeball. The day she was almost run over by the family trailer. All the days she lived. True story. That dog lived to be 9 years old. She had a death wish. School's in. I realized when I was looking through my thesis, you start realizing what you write about all the time. You think that you're always creating new things until you start looking at the thesis and realizing you write the same thing. So me was dogs, animals, and apparently old people. I kept having grandparents. I'm not sure why, but anyway, okay. Didn't realize this fascination. School's in. This world, too old for grandfathers dying before school's in. Kids alive thinking, winter break, spring break. Already they're planning their Disney World vacations, Johnny Tremaine dioramas, future homecoming, prom courts, obsessing over what to tell and what not to tell Santa Claus this Christmas. Tomorrow is bright with corsages, pencils, and a pencil box. Black dress slouched on its thin black hanger, same old scuffed Mary Janes crossing blacktop and cutting through the turf between the headstones. This is a poem from Michael, A War with Birds. Charlie asked me what I was on when I wrote this, and I promise you I just was reading a lot of French poets like Apollinaire. Ventured into a landscape the color of butter, sky over the water, a belly full of frigate birds like black buttons blindly tearing towards those buttonholes. Alone in my engineer boots, am I a sad human girl with boating accidents for eyes? A barrel of beef and bread barge for our supper, a sailor hollers down from his ship without sails. His face, it opens like a dirty sneaker, and he smiles. So the hands, are they ghosts, or are they rivulets in the gutter? I carry the tether that once held a skiff to a slip on the lake. The skiff's hull was the color of old belt leather. My sister sunk like a fish released into green water. In documentaries about animals, there is the compulsion to show animals alive, then dead, and then to show their skeletons. The sailor lights a piece. Through the smoke, he is the fish eagle. What's a fish eagle? You can be the grief of animals held in talons. He is bright and ominous. Pebbles disappear down the throats of the birds surrounding me. I am a sore loser deep down. Self-portrait at grade. I wrote this poem after discovering my aunt had been taking these really strange photos of me as like a 2-year-old wandering in the backyard of what was one of my first houses in Vermont. Just really strange. I looked like the only person in the world, and that was a 2-year-old. I am entering my life wearing pink pants and a white hat, and I stand knock-kneed in 2 white boots. There are 2 brown dogs behind the chain-link fence. Are they fighting? They make a circle, one small orbit in the foot of new snow. On the shoveled path, I am making my way to a clapboard shed with 1 crude window and 3 horseshoes. Beneath, the sky slouches, the purple mountain shaped like an empty camel's hump. What crouches beneath the barely seen blue tarpaulin over there in the neighbor's yard? There is no one right answer. Andrew Booth and I were watching a lot of Ken Burns this summer, so this comes out of that. Goodbye, 1862. Stonewall, eating a peach, sucking lemons. On this embankment, he had the unfortunate habit of overlooking suffering. Antietam and all its dead laid out like some carpet tugged up in places, as harmless as leaf litter in squirrel nests. For some towns far from Fredericksburg, far from these cornfields blighted and battled, the news will be that there are no more young men in that town anymore. No more young men birding from the backs of their racking horses, their grass guts. No one coming home anymore, eventually. Vacation land. I was looking for phosphorescence, the stuff everyone kept saying they were seeing when they took each other's hands and they looked out onto the water. Alone, I began to see this glow, first scattered, then honed down until there was a green eye and something dark, bristling like the body of the last Hokkaido wolf, pacing as if tethered behind that gelid water curtain. Everyone says this tide is a different animal, or rather many animals in death converging. They say this as they turn inland, fan out into the beach grass to tug on the waistbands of each other's shorts. How like them. I wrote that after reading a lot of Louis' book. I feel like I'm very angry at people who are in love. I don't mind if you're in love. Just a few more. After seeing an old friend, it was as if apart from one another, after no longer hearing the tenor of our 2 reed voices, it was as if, after not seeing one another for a while, we had grown wild, just as horses grow wild if let out It could take days, maybe weeks, before we gentle again lose the animal in our eyes, before we step back into the knowledge that we are friends again, common. Absence. How many black rooms you have passed through to find her seated at the spindle this night. I thought I had forgotten my sorrow, she says, and returning your low bow, her threads unravel and pool. Sheltered inside the sleeves of your black kimono, your massive hands tremble, thunderclouds. You say you are heartsick for the red quilt of your bridal chamber, and she draws it over both of you. You have ached for 10 years for the feel of her hair, and now she lays it alongside you like a black scar. She is the frailest creature you ever cast from this world. Inside her face, the black holes of her eyes and mouth are still fathomless. Alone with her again, an unimaginable happiness is dawning. Her body is like the bodies of the antelope and hare you felled as a young samurai, soft bodies bound and silenced, set out on a white canvas at the marketplace outside of Edo years ago. Holy, holy. The big parts of the sky are slung over gray marble, and like an answer, flocks of arrowhead and the ink wings of a ghost ship knowledge drag thin light over us. Speak, pilgrims, who among us is the sun? Grackles make a black fire rustle in the boughs. Ice on the river, dough in a stand-down. Friends, heaps of big birds are bearing winter. It won't be long now. Thank you.